So with rising interest rates and inflation, a lot of investors are looking at more passive income type investments. And some of you are probably interested in real estate investment trusts. But the thing about real estate investment trusts, otherwise known as REITs, well, they're not all equal. See, some are good, some are okay, and some downright suck. So in today's video, I want to talk about the three different types of REITs and which ones I think are the riskiest. Number two, are REITs safe during recession? And which one I think could actually likely withstand recession? And which REIT is the easiest to understand and what to absolutely look for in this type of REIT, and the best ways and the worst ways to own REITs in your accounts in Canada to help you save money and save you taxes. Hello everyone, it's Tracy here. I'm a Canadian DIY investor, a former engineer, and I love sharing about my journey, my investing journey that took place when I was 26 years old, and I've been investing consistently for many, many different years. Now, I love talking about stock investing, real estate investing, and my expertise is helping Canadian DIY investors transition to a cash flow and wealth model using stocks and real estate. Now, if you would like to learn more about stock investing and real estate investing in Canada, then you definitely want to hit the subscribe button and that bell notification button to get the latest and greatest videos coming to you every single week. So let's get back with the video. Hello everyone, I have a REIT 101 video. You could check that video up here if you're getting confused about the terminology. I go over all that in this video and what to absolutely look for in a REIT. Now this video is more in depth. I want to talk about, well, the three types of REITs and which one I think is the riskiest. So there are three different types of REITs. There are equity REITs, mortgage REITs, and a hybrid REIT. So let's talk about equity REITs. This is probably the one you're more familiar with. It's essentially a company that owns real estate and manages the real estate. And then they collect the rent and they distribute a lot of their cash flow, their profits, back to shareholders in forms of monthly distributions. Now they could be in healthcare, they can be owning residential properties, they can own commercial properties, they can own retail, they can own offices. So some traditional REITs in Canada that are some of the biggest REITs are like Smart Center, RioCan. Just think of Smart Center, the ones where they have the anchor tenant is Walmart. So the next type of REIT is mortgage REIT. Okay, this is the one where, hey, they lend out money to real estate owners, to real estate operators, so that these people can, well, build buildings, can do developments, can make sky rises. So essentially they're a mini bank to real estate investors, to real estate operators. And so they make money by loaning money, and whatever the difference is between what they can loan out and the cost of funding these loans, well, that's the money that they make. So this one is actually quite susceptible to rising interest rates. Now this model makes them potentially sensitive to interest rates. So the next model is the hybrid REIT, which is the mix between the equity REIT, which is the traditional apartment buildings, the offices, and then they have another portion of the business where they do mortgage loans. Okay, so it's a mix of two. Now, which REITs are the most riskiest out of the three that we just talked about? I think given that, well, we've got inflation, we've got rising interest rates, well, it just makes complete sense that the mortgage REITs are going to be the riskiest because they're sensitive to interest rates. Because these REITs, well, they fund construction loans, they fund short-term loans, and development properties, well, I imagine they have a higher rate of defaults than a traditional bank. And that's probably why the yield on these mortgage REITs could look very, very attractive. But knowing that we are in a rising interest rate environment, we've got a lot of softening in the housing market, this would be the one, in my opinion, I'm definitely staying away from. Now, where can you find the different REITs in Canada? So I just wanted to add in this bonus so you at least can do your own research. So I use this platform called Simply Wall Street. I love it, been using it for many years. And all you need to do is go to this tab called Screener, screen for the Canadian market, and then you filter to the real estate sector. And then you can check off the different types of REITs you want to just do your own due diligence on. Now, I have a link where you can get a free forever plan. And by clicking the link below, well, you're helping support this channel. Now, you're probably wondering, are REITs safe during recession? Because we have like the war happening, we've got rising interest rates, we've got inflation, we've got a softening in the housing market. All points to signs of a recession. and maybe a global recession. So I want to share my perspective. Of course, in a stock market where we are in a bit of a bear market right now, all the stocks are taking a haircut, which is actually lots of opportunities. So there's lots of opportunities and you need to be looking for high quality investments. Now, investing in other type of REITs such as healthcare or residential, personally, those are the ones I'd be looking at. Those are the ones our essential needs. We always need a place to live and a place to, well, take care of us as we get older. And they have longer lease structures and they're way less cyclical. I mean, because they're essential needs, we need them day to day. Now, what's the easiest REIT to understand? I would always go for an easy business model. Being residential real estate investment trust, okay? We always need a place to live. And if you're ever looking for a good quality REIT, especially residential REITs, it's about location, location, location. And so in terms of a good quality real estate investment trust, a lot of it's very intuitive. You want to look for desirable locations, being major urban centers where the population's growing, where there's job growth, where the median average income is high, where there is infrastructure. So think of Toronto, Montreal, Ottawa, Calgary, the major urban centers. And typically in these areas, a lot of housing prices are unaffordable to the average population, which makes it an essential need to rent an apartment. And because housing prices are getting more and more unaffordable in these urban major centers, there's always an essential need for residential real estate. We're talking about renters who are looking at renting an apartment unit. So when you have a real estate investment trust that's invested in urban cities where there's low vacancy rates being that there's not a lot of vacancies in that city, being ideally less than 3%, those are always good signs. So what are the best ways and worst ways to own real estate investment trusts in your accounts in Canada? See, I want to help you save money, okay? So let's talk about this. Now, the best ways to own a Canadian REIT is in your registered accounts because, well, you don't pay taxes if they pay you distributions, because these REITs pay you distributions every single month. So you get moolah every single month and you don't get taxed on it. But the moment you start investing in US type of REITs, well, then you want to make sure you allocate that in your RRSP, because then you don't have to pay 15% withholding tax. The moment you start investing a US REIT in your TFSA, unfortunately, a little bit of that gets cut off every single month, which really, really sucks. Now, the worst way to own a real estate investment trust, it's outside of your registered accounts. Because if you own it, say, in your self-directed corporate account or just a cash account, well, it's really hard to track the different types of distributions. Some of them get taxed at capital gains rate because, imagine these real estate investment trusts, they buy and sell properties. So that's not exactly just collecting rent every single month and distributing back to you. They actually buy and sell properties. So then that becomes a capital gain. And a portion of it is dividends, and that gets taxed at a different rate. So it becomes a significant tracking nightmare. So if you're someone that likes simplicity, because life is busy, we don't like tracking things, I would think just avoid investing REITs outside a registered account.